At 2:17 a.m. the lights in the West Wing were still on. That alone was strange. The president had gone to sleep hours ago. The press corps was gone. Even the Secret Service rotation had slowed into its graveyard rhythm. Yet inside a secured conference room, 4 men and 1 woman sat in absolute silence, staring at a single photograph projected onto the wall. The woman broke the silence first. "If this ever gets out," she said calmly, "the vice president will not survive politically. Possibly not physically." No one argued. The photograph showed Vice President Ethan Cole, standing in a refugee camp in Eastern Europe 12 years earlier, long before he entered national politics, his arm around a man whose face had been carefully circled in red. The man was now officially listed by the CIA as a Tier 1 strategic adversary. And America was about to erase its own vice president. Ethan Cole was not supposed to be here. He was not born into wealth, not groomed by think tanks, not manufactured by party elites. He grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, the son of a factory electrician and a public school librarian. His childhood was ordinary, almost painfully so. Sunday dinners, high school football games, and a deep belief that the system, while imperfect, could be fixed from within. That belief would almost get him killed. Cole joined the Marines at 19, right after 9/11. He didn't do it for politics. He did it because 3 boys from his street never came home from Afghanistan. By 24, he had survived 2 deployments, lost hearing in 1 ear, and gained a reputation for something rare in war zones: mercy. That reputation followed him long after the uniform came off. When he entered law school on the GI Bill, professors noticed something unsettling about him. He didn't argue to win. He argued to understand. He asked questions no one wanted asked about defense contracts, about Reconstruction money, about why certain wars never truly ended. By the time he became a federal prosecutor, Ethan Cole had already made enemies he didn't know existed. The first attempt to destroy him came quietly. A leaked memo accused him of being soft on national security. Another suggested he had foreign sympathies. None of it stuck because there was no evidence. Cole was clean. Too clean. So they waited. They waited until he ran for Senate. They waited until he won. They waited until the vice presidency put him 1 heartbeat away from the Oval Office. Then they moved. What most Americans never knew was that the vice president had less protection than the president legally, politically, and historically. Presidents were symbols. Vice presidents were expendable. And Ethan Cole was dangerous. Not because he was corrupt, but because he wasn't. The problem wasn't that Cole wanted to dismantle the system. The problem was that he understood it. During classified briefings, he listened more than he spoke. He noticed patterns: wars that aligned too neatly with quarterly earnings, humanitarian crises that justified permanent military presence, intelligence failures that somehow always benefited the same corporations. He began asking for files. Old files. Files no vice president had requested in 50 years. The night America decided to destroy him began with a routine intelligence update. CIA Director Malcolm Hargreave cleared his throat and slid a folder across the table. "Mr. Vice President," he said, "this concerns your past." Cole opened the folder. And the room changed. Inside were photographs, transcripts, satellite images, evidence of a secret humanitarian negotiation Cole had participated in during his final deployment overseas. Negotiations that had saved hundreds of civilian lives. Negotiations that technically violated U.S. protocol. Negotiations that involved men who would later become America's enemies. Cole looked up slowly. "You're telling me you want to prosecute me?" he said, for stopping a massacre. Hargreave didn't answer. Because this was never about prosecution. It was about removal. Within days, anonymous sources began whispering to the press. Foreign ties. Unverified meetings. Unpatriotic decisions. Cable news exploded. Social media turned toxic. And behind the scenes, something far more dangerous was unfolding: a constitutional chess game designed to force the vice president to resign under the illusion of national security. But Ethan Cole had underestimated one thing: the American people. Veterans began speaking out. Aid workers came forward. A retired CIA analyst leaked a single sentence to an independent journalist: "If you knew what the vice president actually prevented, you'd build him a statue." That sentence went viral. And suddenly, the story changed. What followed was the most intense internal political war America had seen since Watergate, but darker, quieter, and far more sophisticated. Phones were tapped. Careers were erased overnight. 2 witnesses died under unexplained circumstances. And Ethan Cole realized something chilling. They weren't trying to silence him. They were trying to rewrite history before he could speak. At 3:41 a.m. Ethan Cole stood alone in his office, staring at the Capitol through bulletproof glass. He knew the truth now. The Vice President of the United States was never meant to survive this. Not if he challenged the machine. Not if he refused to play along. Not if he remembered that power was borrowed, not owned. He reached for his phone and made one call that would change American history forever.